The Boy Who Sold His Shadow. Chapter 2. The Price of Darkness.
The old mill had stood abandoned for longer than anyone in Ashcombe could remember. Its water wheel no longer turned. The river that had once fed it had changed course decades ago, leaving only a narrow stream winding through moss-covered stones. The roof sagged beneath years of rain, and every window was broken, their jagged edges resembling crooked teeth waiting to bite into the night. Children dared each other to throw stones at its walls. Hunters avoided camping nearby. Even the birds refused to build nests beneath its beams. It was a place forgotten by daylight, but remembered by something else. For 3 nights, Elias resisted. Each evening, after tending to his mother, he would pull the black card from his pocket. Each time he held it, the silver letters shimmered with unnatural clarity. When poverty becomes too heavy. The words never changed, yet somehow they seemed more personal every night. On the 4th evening, his mother grew worse. Her breathing became shallow, her fever burned hotter than the fireplace. She reached for his hand with trembling fingers. "I'm sorry." Elias shook his head. "You have nothing to apologize for." "I couldn't give you..." She struggled for air. "A better life. You gave me everything." Tears filled her tired eyes. "No," she smiled sadly. "I gave you hardship." Elias squeezed her hand tighter. "You gave me love." She closed her eyes. "I wish love could buy medicine." Those words stayed with him long after she fell asleep. Love could not buy medicine. Hope could not buy medicine. Prayers had not bought medicine. But perhaps a shadow could. The moon hung low over the forest as Elias wrapped his old cloak tightly around himself. He slipped quietly from the cottage. The black card rested inside his coat pocket. The road to the mill wound between towering pines whose branches blocked most of the moonlight. The deeper he walked, the quieter the forest became. No crickets, no owls, no rustling leaves. Even the wind seemed unwilling to pass through those woods. His own footsteps sounded unnaturally loud. Crunch, crunch, crunch. After nearly an hour, the trees opened into a clearing. There stood the mill, exactly as he remembered, except one window glowed with warm golden light. The door opened before he reached it. Mr. Umbra stood waiting. His black umbrella remained open despite the perfectly clear sky. "I wondered how many nights it would take. I almost didn't come, but you did." "I need money." Umbra inclined his head. "I know." He stepped aside. "Please." The inside of the mill looked nothing like its crumbling exterior. Instead of dust and rotten wood, Elias found polished oak floors, towering bookshelves, velvet curtains, crystal chandeliers, and a roaring fireplace. It resembled the study of an impossibly wealthy nobleman. No windows looked outside. The room felt larger than the building itself. "I don't understand." Few people do. Umbra removed his gloves with careful precision. "You've come regarding the transaction." Elias nodded slowly. "Before anything happens..." Umbra gestured toward 2 leather chairs. "You may ask whatever questions you wish." Elias sat cautiously. "So," he cleared his throat, "what exactly is a shadow?" Umbra smiled. "A surprisingly complicated question. I thought it was just..." He pointed toward the floor. "Darkness. For most people, yes." Umbra poured tea into delicate porcelain cups. "But every living creature leaves behind more than blocked sunlight." "What do you mean?" "A shadow remembers." Elias frowned. "It remembers every place you've stood." Umbra continued calmly. "Every fear you've hidden. Every secret you've buried. It is the silent witness to your existence. The room grew strangely quiet. And you collect those? I preserve them. Why? Umbra stirred his tea. There are libraries filled with books, museums filled with paintings, vaults filled with jewels. He looked directly into Elias's eyes. My collection is simply different. Will selling mine hurt? No. Will I still be myself? Mostly. Mostly? Umbra did not answer immediately. Finally, he spoke. You will lose nothing you cannot live without. The wording unsettled Elias. That's not exactly an answer. It's the truest one. Umbra reached into a drawer. He withdrew a contract written upon thick black parchment. The ink shimmered silver. No candlelight reflected from it. Instead, the letters seemed to produce their own pale glow. There are only 3 conditions. He placed the document before Elias. First, you willingly surrender ownership of your shadow. Second, you may never attempt to reclaim it through force. Third, you may never ask where it has gone. Elias read the page twice. I don't see anything about curses. There aren't any. No hidden writing? There is no need. No tricks? I dislike tricks. Umbra folded his hands. A bargain should be understood by both parties. What do I receive? Umbra gently slid a small iron chest across the table. It landed with a heavy thud. Open it. Elias lifted the lid. Inside, gold. More gold than he had ever imagined. Hundreds of gleaming sovereigns, neatly stacked, each one perfectly polished. His breath caught. This, his voice barely worked. This could buy 10 houses. It could. It could hire physicians from the capital. Yes. It could feed the village for years. If that is how you choose to spend it. Elias stared into the chest. Every problem in his life, every impossible obstacle, every desperate prayer sat inside that box. All for something he had believed worthless. There must be a catch. Umbra looked almost disappointed. Humans always assume value demands suffering. Doesn't it? Often. But not always. He leaned back. I have purchased shadows from kings, from beggars, from thieves, from saints. They all asked the same question. And they all believed the answer only after it was too late. A cold shiver passed through Elias. What does that mean? Umbra smiled politely. It means every choice reveals its true cost only after it has been made. Elias looked again at the contract, then at the chest, then at his own hands, his mother, the medicines, the winter, the hunger, the leaking roof. He whispered, "If I refuse..." Umbra closed the chest. You leave. And that's all? That is all. No punishment? No. You'll simply wait for someone else? I always do. Silence stretched between them. Finally, Elias picked up the silver pen resting beside the parchment. His hand trembled. This feels wrong. Many important decisions do. I don't know why. Because your instincts recognize change before your mind accepts it. Elias hesitated. He looked toward the fireplace. The flames cast long shadows across the room, all except one. Mr. Umbra had none. The realization struck him like ice. You, Umbra met his gaze calmly, don't have a shadow. No. What happened to it? I sold it. Elias blinked. You? Long ago. To whom? Umbra smiled faintly. I signed the third condition. Never ask where it has gone. The room suddenly felt much colder. Elias's fingers tightened around the pen. If you sold yours, then why are you buying mine? Umbra looked into the fire. Because someone once bought mine. And now? Now it is my turn. The answer explained everything and nothing. His mother's coughing echoed in his memory. Blood upon white cloth, empty cupboards, cold mornings, lonely winters. He lowered the pen, signed his name, Elias Thorn. The silver ink immediately vanished into the parchment. Umbra nodded once. The agreement is accepted. The candles throughout the room extinguished simultaneously. Darkness swallowed everything. Then, something moved across the floor, not toward Elias, from him. His shadow began peeling itself away from his feet. At first it looked like liquid ink, then like smoke, then like a living silhouette. It rose slowly from the wooden floor, stretching into the shape of a boy made entirely of darkness. Its face had no features, yet Elias somehow knew it was looking directly at him. The shadow raised one trembling hand, not in anger, not in fear, but in silent farewell. Elias whispered. For reasons he could not explain, tears filled his eyes. The shadow turned toward Mr. Umbra. Umbra opened a small ebony box no larger than a jewelry case. The living darkness folded itself impossibly small, flowing into the box like black water disappearing down a drain. The lid clicked shut. Every candle reignited. The room was normal again. Elias looked down. Nothing stretched beneath his feet. The fire still burned, the candles still glowed, furniture still cast shadows. Only he did not. Umbra handed him the heavy iron chest. It is done. Elias waited. He expected pain, dizziness, weakness. Nothing happened. He looked around. I feel exactly the same. Umbra smiled. I told you. Elias laughed nervously. That's it? That is all. Relief flooded through him. He had done it. His mother would live. Everything would be different now. He hurried toward the door, clutching the chest with both hands. Just before stepping outside, he paused. Will I ever see you again? Mr. Umbra's expression became strangely unreadable. Oh, he said softly. Our business has only just begun. The door closed behind Elias with a deep, echoing thud. As he disappeared into the forest, neither he nor the sleeping village noticed the impossible sight that followed him through the moonlit trees. Though Elias no longer had a shadow, a second pair of footsteps echoed behind him. Slow, measured, perfectly matching his pace. Whenever he stopped, they stopped too. Whenever he walked, they resumed. Yet every time he turned around, the forest was empty. Only the darkness between the trees seemed just a little deeper than before.